Alright, today we are looking at the Jeep Wrangler Overland, which comes in at 10,000 above the Sport S, which is the entry level. It comes in at around 58,000 Australian dollars. Now it only comes in 3-door, the Overland. The Rubicon is the one above, which comes in 4-door. You can't get that in 2-door. That's the more intense off-roading one. Now this one still does an incredible job, but it only comes in 3-door in the Overland trim. So at the front, you've got LED lights, which the Sport S does not get, and your usual Jeep grille. You've got your plastic front bumper here with a very decent clearance underneath for your off-roading. Now you've got your huge Bridgestone tires. They're 255 70 R18s and a very large suspension going on there along with your clearance as well. Now because this is the 3-door, your wheelbase is obviously going to be a lot smaller, and it is around 2,500 millimeters. So it's under 100 inches. It comes in at 96 inches. That is around 60 centimeters shorter than the 5-door options, which is a very big difference. Now you come around to the boot, and it opens in 2 compartments. You've got the bottom part that opens, this is the first part that you open, and then you just open the top. And so you only have 197 litres of storage there. Because it is a 3-door, 4-seater car, there isn't going to be as much space. Here you have your 12 volt, and you can put the back seats up, which is quite easy to do. Once the headrests are down, you basically just fling this forward, and then once it's down, you can then just lift it, and that's it. Now you have 587 litres worth of storage, which is a big difference compared to your 197, but it is easy to do, and that's the main thing. You've got your structure coming in around there. Now you've got the speakers, and because of the frame, the roof comes off, the doors even come off, and the windshield, which is interesting, which is not legal on most roads, but if you're on a private road, it is cool to do. We'll just bring the seats back. Oh, okay, not like that. And now that we're looking in from the back, your head is likely to hit that if you are going to a bump and you are sitting in the bank. There is good space though. I'm quite tall, over 1.83 m, so 6 foot. You will be comfortable enough. It won't be the coziest because it is only a 4-seater car and it is 3 doors, but it is good enough. And if we look back here, there are USB ports, USB-C. I'm gonna go down here. There are 2 USB 2 and 2 USB-C, which is essentially 4 USB ports in the back, along with your plug that just plugs in your 230 volt, 150 watt adapter, and you've got your 2 cup holders. Now there is your legroom if you're sitting in the back. It could be better, but then again, this is a 3-door car, so we're not going to complain. Now while we're looking at the inside, you've got a big 8.3-inch display, which we'll get there when we get around. You've got 9-speaker Alpine system, which is very good because it is a small car and it does pump quite well with pretty good bass and very good mids. There's a speaker up here, and there is another speaker up here, and 7 more around the car. You've got leather seats all round, and let's just pull this back up. Now the way to close it is you obviously want to put the top down first, because that's the order, and then the bottom. Now we come around to this side. You've got your trail rated 4x4 badging Overland and Jeep Wrangler. Here is the bonnet, which I just took off earlier. It just clips on there. You want to clip it on and then clip that on. Now under the bonnet, you've got the 3.6 litre V6, which puts out 209 kilowatts of power and 349 Newton meters worth of torque. Your 0 to 100 is rated at around 7.5 to 8 seconds, tested, which is quite decent. Now let's get into the passenger side. Now your usual boxy interior, as we would expect from a Jeep. We have lovely leather seats. You've got Overland embroidered on here. Now, if you want to get to the back, you're basically just going to pull this, and here you are, and bring it a bit forward, and you're going to have to jump in to get there. There are your headrests, which need to be folded down if you do want to fold those seats forward to get the full 587 litres worth of storage. Your space is okay, given that it is such a small car, but it will do in the meantime. Now, up here is the roof that is going to come off. So you have latches. You have 1, 2 over here, 3, and then you have a 4th and a 5th. And that will have to be on each side to take the roof off, which we will do in a moment. Now we look at the inside, and here is your glove box, which is tiny. It's barely a handful of stuff that's going to fit there. You've got one speaker here, another speaker there, not much storage above here to put anything. Very boxy, very flat, and very angular. Now, you do have a bit more leg room here than the driver's side because these obviously were made in America, left-hand drive, and that is something that can get annoying. We'll go over to the driver's side to check it out. Now we're going around to the driver's side. Open it up, and as you'll see, your left leg doesn't have much room to rest. You just sort of, where you would normally put in any other car your foot to rest, it just wouldn't here because it's made in America. Now, your leather seats are heated, as is your steering wheel, which is another cool American touch. Now we'll just pop in to have a look inside, and your push button start over here. Wants me to shut the door. There is your big 8.3 inch display, which has the Uconnect system. Now you can do your seats from here, your passenger seats, projection manager, off-road pages, a lot of off-road information here, your heated wheel, CarPlay and Android Auto, audio settings which you can play around with. We'll do a full review of the tech systems later, which you can see. We'll spend a bit more time on it. Your backup cam just shows the camera, which is pretty cool. And then we have your off-road pages. Now this shows a lot of off-road information, as you would expect. Now while that's loading, we'll show you, here is your gear stick for your four-wheel drive, low range, high range, auto, part-time, which you have to put in a lot of force to change it, which is good, so it won't automatically hit it and it'll just go into four-wheel drive mode, which is good to know. Now here is your drivetrain. It shows you accessory gauges, which is pretty cool, and your pitch and roll, which is great for off-roading. You've got controls here for your mirror, your backup. You can dim the mirror, put some heat on it. Now here is your steering wheel heat. Here's all your aircon, auto start stop, and here are your mirrors up and down. That's not where you press them. It's actually just here. You go up and down. That's how you go up and down. Media, you've got aux, USB, and a USB-C, which is nice to know. And here is your big gear lever, PR and D, and then manual. And there is your handbrake and your two water bottle holders. We'll go inside here. You've got the top storage and then the bottom storage, which also has a second USB port there with a decent amount of storage in there for your things. Now the wheel is a big chunky Jeep wheel. You come over here, you have your, getting a bit of glare, but on your left is your manual cluster, and your right, your revs and your speedo. In the middle is your digital cluster. I'm just going to put the window up. Now the digital cluster has the speed, fuel, and all these settings that you can see, vehicle information that you can change depending on what you want to see, your off-road information, cruise control settings, average fuel economy. It's been sitting on, hence why it is so bad. Don't be alarmed. Your average is probably going to be around 12 to 13 litres in everyday driving. Start, stop, music, and any other messages that will pop up. Now your lights are automatic, which you can put, and you can do that for, you've got your wipers here, obviously the indicator is on the left. On the wheel, you're going to have your options. That's what I've been changing with. hang up, answer, and then over here are your cruise control, how close you want to be to the car in front for your emergency braking, as well as your adaptive cruise options, which is a new addition to the Wrangler range, given that they're looking to improve all their technology and their safety, given that they got 1-star and then upgraded to 3-star, which is good. All right, we have just taken off the roof, as you can see, of the driver's side. I haven't taken off the passenger side, which you can as well. Now there's just 4 latches that you have to take off, and then you flip it off, and it is quite heavy. You probably put it in your tiny boot, or if you leave it at home, but in case it rains or anything, obviously just chuck it in the boot. And then you have, so we'll look here, you've still got the frame here as well, and it's basically just a much bigger sunroof. And you actually can take the, as I mentioned earlier, the windscreen off and the doors, which would make it completely off-road, but I would not recommend that, given that it is most likely illegal. Now it's got a decent chunk of power, given that it isn't the heaviest compared to the 4-door options, and it does off-road quite well. It doesn't have the full off-roading specifications that the Rubicon would have, but it has a good amount to make it quite enjoyable, because it is such a small wheelbase. It is quite fun to do off-road. We'll just turn it off there. And it is a good mix between your full off-roaders and your boring SUV everyday cars, and it does the everyday job quite well. At times it can get a little bit uncomfortable at high speeds, because you hear a lot of it, because the window and the top roof that comes off don't block the air completely, but it still does an awesome job. The Accelerator is really lively, which you get from the 209 kilowatts of power V6 engine. There is a 8-speed ZF gearbox, which is way better than the old 5-speed, which basically has shorter gear ratios and constantly wants to upshift, but it means that it can sit in the low rev range and not be too loud on your trips. But there's the Wrangler Overland. There's plenty of features with it. It is a little bit expensive, but you are getting a lot of car for it, minus the 2 doors that it's missing. But it does have a lot of features. It's better than the soft top, which is $10,000 less. Obviously hard top, much more reliable, much more sturdy. But there it is. There is your short wheelbase. There is the Overland. We are going to do a full review, which we'll write up and put in the description below, along with many other videos, including the exhaust, go through the technology, and a lot of other things that we enjoy, including some test drives, point of views that you can see as we're taking it for a spin. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and stay tuned for more videos, along with the new videos of the Jeep that we're going to do. Cheers.